Podular, and it's all right, guys. Welcome back, episode 21. Uh, we got a great episode for you guys today. We got fresh tour dates dropping. We've got a new song, as you guys just heard, and to help us bring it in, we've got an awesome guest for our second episode of our fan edition. Welcome, Miss Brooke Montjoy.
What up? What up?
What's
Hello,
going on,
hello.
Brooke? Good to have you. We're super pumped. First things first, new music. Yeah, by the time we dropped last week, we had not had the release of Life's a Symphony in Unity. It's all right. So, how's that gonna look on set list? That's quite a mouthful to put on a set list. Are we doing LASIU, comma IA?
It's funny you say this, because as the set list artist, I think about this every single time I see a song title. How does this fit into what I do? I'm abbreviating this. I'm not putting this. I'm not making a 12-inch long song title for the song every time. It's getting abbreviated on my board for sure.
You talk about 12, and that acronym rolls off the tongue a little bit more. Is this LASIUIA?
Hey, it's gonna become an emoji.
Yes, there we go. Type it into Apple Intelligence and see what happens with the emojis. That'd be a great point. Let's get down to business though. Let's talk about the music here. What a party, man.
Cool.
So this is what has come out of It's All Right. Good God.
Very cool. So, little background about the track. Apparently, this is the It's All Right. Part of it is because this was originally part of the version of It's All Right that I guess we're all pretty familiar with at this point. And it felt so good, they just kind of took it in its own direction and gave it its own song. How fitting that our queen Maureen Murphy featured on it. I reached out to her after this dropped because I could not get over the poker face of doing 3 hours with us and not alluding at all to the fact that she's dropping next week with them. So I asked her, did you know, or did you find out in between? She found out the morning we dropped the podcast.
I thought it was an alignment.
Nope. Jim Shepard texted us and he said that our podcast is a manifestation machine. And
okay, so non-directional beacon. Just keep saying it.
Got my squares and cubes on.
There we go. Yeah. All right. This is good. We're already manifesting a lot here. But yeah, the Maureen vocals, man, that guitar lick, my goodness. And then Phipps on that second half with the disco chords. Oh my goodness.
This is gonna space disco.
Space disco. I love that. 100%. It's be ripping up some dance floors here this year. And kind of getting your guys' points on this. How do we think this fits into a set list? Do we think we're gonna hear the part of It's All Right we've heard, and then they're gonna end with this? Or what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I was thinking about, I feel like it's a suite. I feel like it's got to be. I don't feel like It's All Right disappears in this song because they're still very unique songs. It's not like these two songs sound alike. So yeah, I think it ends up being a suite a la Frequencies or Mobsters, Seriality, EV, something like that. Are
you thinking the same, Brooke?
Yeah, I do. I could see it starting with It's All Right, going into, I'm not even gonna go into how long that one is, and then finishing maybe back into It's All Right again.
There we go. I like where your head's at. And hey, the next opportunity they have to play it, I don't know if you see on the calendar of where they're gonna be and where that featured vocalist lives.
In about 30 something days.
Yeah, something like that. That's got sit-in written all over it there for a live debut. So, speaking of tour, it's been a hell of a week. New tour dates too, man. We already knew 2 nights at the Sky Deck, April 18th and 19th, and they hit Suwannee for Resonate May 15th and 16th. Then we know we've got the anthem in DC about a month later. And then finally back to the Pacific Northwest. Man, how long has it been since
I was
we've
just about to
gotten
ask.
headlining shows? I think like to 2019 or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID for sure. So one night in Portland on July 10th at the Crystal Ballroom, and then 2 nights in Seattle at the Crocodile, July 12th and 13th. We've got more announcements coming soon on August 1st and August 2nd. And then to the Midwest, baby, we go. Oh my goodness, St. Louis. We know St. Louis STS9 shows go off. They're playing a very small, outdoor, intimate, I think 800 person cap venue. Our boy Brad, who lives down there in St. Louis, was sending us pictures and telling us all about it. Sounds like that's going to be a cannot miss. Then we knew they're supporting Cheese in Eau Claire the next night. That was going to be the plan for Jamie's birthday. But then we hit Grand Rapids for the intersection that Sunday. I think we're going to do a little bit of switcheroo there. I think we're going to do STL and then over to Grand Rapids on Sunday. I'd take 2 nights with 2 sets of Sector 9 rather than one opening set. And then we got another announcement coming soon. Well, we know what that's going to be. Boulder Theater on August 29th, and then Dillon Amphitheater on the 30th and 31st. So 2025 really taking shape for the live the live sector of STS9. So we going to be hitting any of these shows? What do we think? Brooke, what's on your schedule?
Yeah, that's always the question because I'm the one that's like, we're going. Jack is like, no, we're not. And I'm like, no, let me show you how.
Going.
So we will be in Nashville
Okay.
for those 2 nights, and my
That'd
parents
be
are
weird
actually,
if you weren't.
well, you know, I didn't realize that we like totally planned this. It's Easter weekend.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Mhm.
It is, you know, you got a little one that doesn't even know who the Easter Bunny is yet, Scotty.
That's true.
So you're
That's true.
good. But luckily my parents are taking the kids camping. So I am going. We have no responsibility. We're gonna have an Easter egg hunt at our Airbnb, adult Easter egg hunt. Y'all can come for brunch.
Sick.
And yeah, so we're doing Nashville, Resonate. We're taking the kids again. They loved it last
Okay.
year.
I love the idea of taking the kids to Suwannee. That's such a cool place to take them. There's so much for them to
It
do,
was
probably.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
St. Louis, I would like, that's another one. I'm kind of like, if I can throw in any additional shows, it's going to have to be that we're taking the kids and making it like a family affair.
Yeah.
So St. Louis is one of those that I haven't pitched to Jack yet. He's in bed, so he'll find out about this later. And you know, Dylan is with not, you know, Red Rocks we always did. We've got friends in Denver, so Dylan is very much up in the air. So really I'm only secure up until Resonate for sure. And then I have some suspicion on some of those dates that I think I might be able to make.
Nice. Good stuff.
Well, I would argue that Dillon is a more family friendly place to take your kids to a concert than Red Rocks by a fucking million, honestly.
For sure.
That place has kids running all around it at any show that I've been to. I went to Pretty Lights and there was a bunch of kids there. Like it's a good place to take the kids.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in St. Louis. I think I'm about 95% sure we're gonna do that. We're gonna stay with Brad, bring Jay. We'll use his babysitter, and I'm pretty sure that one's gonna happen. That might be the first one that you and me and are together for, Nate.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
But Brooke, couldn't be more excited to have you. You are the first installment of our fan series here at Pop Popular.
I don't know if I should be proud or embarrassed.
Jim, yes, you're right. You're the second.
Yes.
I view Jim as an artist a little bit though with his band.
I did too.
We had that conversation mid pod that he could have been either or.
I'm just a straight fangirl, so
there we go. Yeah, no ties to any artistry or anything like that. Here along for the ride, and couldn't be more excited to have you. But you know, first things first, to kind of start the interview portion. You've been around the STS9 scene for a long time, but take us into behind Brooke. Where did you grow up? Where are you from? How'd you
Oh
get
my
into
gosh.
music? All that stuff. Give us the deets.
All right. I didn't know we were going to go this far. Yeah, well, I am still here in Knoxville, Tennessee, born and raised, never really left this quaint little city, but we got a good crew here, so it's kind of hard
Mm-hmm.
to leave.
Okay.
Um, I graduated high school in 2005, which was I'd say it was my junior or senior year of high school that I maybe even sophomore year. I don't really remember exactly, but around the high school period, definitely started hearing about Sound Tribe, got into them, and then when Artifact dropped, that was my senior year, and that was like, you know, that was a life-changing album for me, and that was what motivated me to want to see them live, and then of course continue where we are now, 20 years, almost 20 years later. Um, but yeah, I've just been here. I got into the I guess really Bonnaroo 2005, which I know we're going to discuss in a little bit, but the story behind that was I was not supposed to go. My mother was so mad at me because I did not score high enough on my ACT to get the Hope Scholarship um,
Ah,
for right out of high
I know
school. And I
about Hope.
only
I'm
took
from
it,
Georgia.
yeah, only took it one time. So I didn't do, I didn't do any of the things. So the retake is Bonnaroo 2005. And Trishy,
Oh,
shout out Trishy, she's like giving me hell. Like, you need to retake this. Like, if you don't, you're gonna have to blah, 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 responsibility. Well, I went to Bonnaroo. It was amazing. It was great. I was 18 years old. Kind of a culture shock for me. Like I was into the music, but I had never been in the scene like that.
sure.
So I think I
Mm-hmm.
was really taking it all in at that point. So really around like 18, approaching 19 years old is when I really like got deep into the scene. Before that, I was kind of a John Mayer gal. My dad used to drive me around and let me skip school and follow John Mayer.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nice. So, who is the person that showed you STS9 for the first time? Because I always say nobody finds this band on their own. Everybody has kind of like a shepherd.
I am having a hard time remembering. I
Okay.
think
Okay.
it could be my girlfriend Ashley Locken.
Okay.
We met when we were about 16, and she's who I used to see all of my shows with. We went to Bonnaroo together. So I think it was Ashley.
Okay.
She's actually
Nice.
in Denver now. Shout out Ashley.
Shout out Ashley.
She is not really around. She hasn't seen the band in a bit. She did come to Red Rocks with me a couple years ago. But yeah, I think it was her.
Nice. Nice. And
And was she kind of the one that what helped you get to your first show? Who would that be for you?
Her, yeah, we went to Bonnaroo
Mhm.
together. Yep, it was just the
Perfect.
two of us. Yep.
and
So
did you
you find out about the band through studio recordings, right? Not even live recordings yet. It was kind of just, or did you listen to
I
some
think I
live
was
shows?
I think I was listening to some of those good old pirated uh
Mm.
live recordings back in the day.
Okay, yeah, I think that's funny because I've always I've said this on the podcast before as a given hot take that I don't think the best thing to give a first time listener of STS9 is the Artifact album. I think that's something you show them after you show them a few live shows. So I kind of laughed when you said that because I was like, oh, I just kind of ate shit there for a little bit because that's what really got you into it. So that's
Mhm.
that's
Eh,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so you go to Bonnaroo, you see STS9. Obviously, you enjoy it. But you told us earlier that kind of the first time that you really had your mind blown by them is New Year's a couple years later, right?
No,
Um,
just the
oh,
very
sorry,
next.
I'm
Couple
sorry. Yeah,
months
Yeah,
it's the
later,
same.
yeah.
It's the
couple
same year.
months
My
later.
bad. My bad. What got you down to Atlanta? Same friend, same move. Let's just go do it again.
Yeah, I went with Ashley and I actually went with my friend Paige Elkington. She's out in California now, but the three of us went. We stayed in Buckhead somewhere at a friend's house, probably some frat guy that they were friends with. And I did not do the whole run. I just did New Year's Eve. We did Widespread Panic at Phillips Arena the night before on 30th. And that was kind
I've never
of
split it up before. I've never split it up before, but a lot of my friends do that.
I'll never do it again. Yeah, I went through a phase. Yeah.
No,
I went through a
Panic's
phase.
great.
Yeah, I haven't seen him since 2019, pre-COVID, and then post-COVID, I've been like, all my money, Soundtribe. That's it.
Awesome. Well, hey, let's get into a clip. Let's listen to some music from that Live as Time Changers run. We'll take any excuse we can get to go back to that and check out some videos from it. So that'll be our first clip of the night that we'll discuss here.
Yeah.
Look at those fingers go, baby.
All 15 of them. Hunter's a bad motherfucker, dude.
seeing the hands.
Yeah.
Bunch of feral animals.
All right. So, Brooke, you are our first guest, the first person we've talked to that was at these shows. And the camera work on the shows does an unbelievable job taking you there, right? Especially when you've been to an STS9 show and you've seen them in the South, right? That's all I'm going to
Right.
say. Talk to us about the energy in the crowd and seeing STS9 at the Tabernacle in the mid 2000s.
Ah, it was incredible. Like I said, I didn't go to the first few nights, so I was already in Atlanta seeing Widespread, and I had heard, oh my gosh, these cameras are going all above the heads, and there's a giant Lite-Brite behind the stage, and like
Giant Lite-Brite.
yes, like, and I
Yes.
was like, I can't wait. So, we go, and I remember I had my Chick-fil-A cup with like, I don't know, I had like Everclear in it, but some sort of like very fratty punch. But I remember this night, I did good. And so, yeah, when you get in there, the cameras, and that was what I was looking at in the way the cameras were going. That's exactly what it felt like in there. Like when you're looking up, like they were just like, they were going everywhere. It was just a really unique experience to be part of. And then I can't remember, did we get it on DVD? We're
Yeah.
Oh,
beyond
yeah.
VHS. I was gonna say we're
Yeah.
beyond
Yeah.
VHS at that
It's on.
point, aren't
I have a
we?
DVD.
Yeah, that was really fun, and I watched it maybe about a year ago on YouTube. I pulled it up on my big screen and just kind of, it's just really fun to relive that night. But the energy in the room was, it was electric. It's like it is now, every show that we go to, but there was just something very cool because, we didn't have nugs and live streams and all of that. So yeah, that was a pretty cool era to be part of.
One thing,
We couldn't have gotten a better response to that. The fact that like the setup in that room was like urban legend on the streets of Atlanta and had made its way to the Phillips of the Panic people being like, yo, this is tight, but
boy, you
got
gotta
this
see
light
what
bright
the
going
fuck
on.
they got going on in the Tabernacle tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that we're talking so much about the way that footage is filmed, because as somebody who grew up in Atlanta and has been to his fair share of Tabernacle shows, that venue when you're in it feels fucking gigantic. It's a church. It's a 3-story church. It feels huge, but it doesn't in Live as Time Changes. Everything feels packed together and on top of each other. And if you had never been to the Tabernacle, I don't know if you would realize how big the room that they're playing
Yeah.
in is, because it kind of shrinks it in a cool way and kind of, I don't know, conduces the energy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you the first time I went there, I was expecting it to be smaller for sure. But
Yeah.
like it's packed to the gills in there, and the crowd shots are just awesome. So yeah, Brooke, this is what gets you hooked. Like, what are the songs that initially stick with you? What are the things you're listening to between then and your next shows, and really what helps you kind of in your deep dive with the band here?
Of course, the Artifact album, anything I got from Artifact was great. So I think we got a Music Us that night, which remains one of my favorites. Just that one stuck out, just from studio. But that night, I don't remember the order. But I have specific memories of Once Told that remains a favorite. I loved when we got that opener at Red Rocks a few years ago. I have very, very vivid memories of Once Told. The Warrior Countdown was bone chilling. I don't know how to explain it. It was, I don't know. It was the way they like softened the song heavily for quite a while. And then, Murph comes in and is talking to us. Let's do this thing, y'all. And, then the countdown goes and then the balloons drop and then Hunter starts wailing and it kind of like picks back up again. Like I'm getting chills kind of talking about it. But
Yeah.
there was just something really bone chilling, like in a good way, not in a scary dusk kind of way.
Right.
But yeah, that and Roy G. Biv. I'm pretty sure we got Roy G. Biv that night. If not, it was a different Tabernacle show, but I specifically
You did.
remember.
This set list should be illegal. First set, we've got This Us, Some Sing, One a Day in a Blue Mood, Music Us, Roy G. Biv, Monkey Music, Aimlessly. Take a break, come back, Warrior Countdown, into Rent, Low Swagger, Arigato, Hubble, where I didn't realize the power went out.
No, this is the Masquerade show in 2008.
Oh, okay, cool. Really what Once Told opening encore dance club.
Dude.
So.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. That's why I remember that night.
It's outlawed for sure. It wouldn't matter how much Everclear was in your system, honestly, or how big that Chick-fil-A cup was.
I know I always have a little color on my lips, but the red that night was pure Kool-Aid. It was like, yeah, it was Kool-Aid.
I love it. So, right, we've been seeing them in Atlanta, which is kind of a trek for you, right? I mean, Knoxville is you're kind of in a perfect
3
spot
hours.
where you can hop in the car and see STS9 at a lot of different places, Asheville, Atlanta, Knoxville, Nashville, everything like that. So is that kind of the collection of cities that you start to frequent shows at?
For sure. Yes. Economical now that I have somebody keeping track of my finances. But yes, no, we've got friends in Colorado. So, when we can stay with basically, if we can stay with friends, I'm going to try to make any show I can. So yeah, Colorado. And then of course the closer Atlanta, Asheville, Nashville, for the most part, is kind of, the bulk of my shows.
Yeah. No, I think Nashville is that next city we want to jump into, and you let us know it's still one of your favorite cities to see them in. And this first half of clips, we kind of there's almost two different chapters to the Brooke Montjoy saga of seeing STS9, right? You have this mid to late 2000s, the Murf years. So we're gonna do kind of half Murf clips and half Alana clips of kind of the reemergence for you here. But we want to jump to Nashville here. We know this is one of your favorite songs as well, and we clipped this from a show that I think is renowned as one of the best in this city. Murf. Ugh. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Those one-a-day keys.
Yo.
We know how the rest of it goes.
Oh, fun story about that one. I had somebody show me this show in a Motel 6 parking lot on Stump Tour in 2013. Shout out Trey Ebert. He was the one that showed me this show. I'd never heard it before. I want to read this comment at the top from This Is Art. If you were standing outside the venue, the walls were literally exploding with bass from the very first note. I street teamed Nashville in 2006 and 2007 and spammed the entire town with so many posters that if you opened your door, you basically knew STS9 was coming. I legit cared about this band back then. The show was not only sold out, but every OG head was in attendance, so the vibe was just beautiful. Listen to the last note after the encore, and you'll hear what I'm talking about. Favorite track, of course, Ike.
So, Brooke, you were one of those OGs. OG heads in attendance.
I guess so, except I was a newbie back then.
Well, again, this is 421. We're back to this 420 Nashville stuff. They're going back to their roots with this. 2007
Yeah.
421 City Hall, Nashville. Take us to this night, Brooke.
Oh, I think I went with my friend Chuck, who lives in Nashville, and we got there early. So we're there. It's this warehouse. It's this big old warehouse, kind of just in the middle of downtown. And the band is sound checking. I'm like out there early, I guess I've just always been a Doors girl. But yeah, I don't know who in the band smokes. Maybe is it Jeffrey or who, maybe more of them at the time.
Yeah.
I think he came out, but I feel like Hunter came out too. And I'm just like sitting there, like leaning against the brick wall, and they were sound checking, and then they walked out, and I'm just like looking at them like, hey, And I didn't say anything at all. I just kind of like stood there like, I'm gonna be cool. Don't say hey to them. And still have biggest regrets because I have never ever met them. I feel like we
That's
know each other, but
crazy.
like, isn't that
Any
crazy?
of them.
But no, I mean, like, I feel like interactions within, shows, I'm always on the rail
Sure.
for most things.
They know you.
I feel the connection. I know it's there, but I've never gotten to like, I just want to give you a pat on the back. But
Like
can
a
I
really
just
hard
tell
one.
you
Yeah,
I just
nicely
wanna-
done.
let me just tell you how much I love you. They already know. But yeah, so I remember seeing them and I'm just like, waiting for the show to start. But yes, very similar. I mean, that venue, I remember being up behind Phipps. You could the venue, you could almost kind of wrap around the stage
Yeah.
a
Kind of like
little
in
bit.
Austin. Yeah.
So yeah, I remember being kind of like behind Phipps, but it felt like I was on the rail, but yeah, it was packed. I guess I don't know if I knew everybody back then. I just was, I wasn't even 21 at this time, or maybe shortly close to it, but yeah, I was just a young chick.
Love it. Well, man, I mean, you were in attendance for some greatness here. I mean, there's some wild versions. Like Scotty said, the rabble from that show is absolutely crazy. So, again, we'll throw all these show links in the description so you guys can check out the story of Brooke as well through these and take a listen to these shows because they're worth listening to. We go to '08, and before I play the clip from this show. You had a great story from this show. So Masquerade Music Park, August 1st, 2008. Take us to this day and kind of how it went down for you.
Yes, and I did not tell you guys the story on purpose because it's great. So I don't think I went to the first night because everyone swears that they saw the band play, and I think I just went to the night. It was a stump tour. I just went to the night where there was no show. The power went out. So we're all in our hotel. This is 2008, so there's no Ubers. We order our cab, and it's a crew of us. And we're all in this big conversion van about to start heading to the Masquerade. I'm in the very back of this thing because short girl, we know our place. So I'm in the very back, and much like today, had my camera in my hands. You know me, I'm always snapping pictures and videos. So I'm in the back and I'm telling the whole crew, like, hey guys, everybody turn around. Let me take a picture before we like hit the road. I have to continue to ask the people that were present for this if this really happened or if I'm making it up because it's just too cliche and perfect. But our cab driver had not even taken off yet. Like we were just loading and I'm like, let me take a picture. He turns around and he was like, does somebody say turn around? He hits play on his cassette tape and turn around every now and then I get it. And we all lost it. It was like he was just waiting for that moment. He hits play, and every time I run into this crew, I'm like, did we see that? Did that really happen? It really happened.
That's your total eclipse of the heart moment there, right? I'm sure that
yes
song is connected.
And who would have known it would have been connected to the space music that I was heading to.
Right.
Yeah. And so obviously this is the show that didn't happen, but we had a great night.
Yeah, well, something happened here because you've got a soundboard from August 1st.
So you're telling me they were supposed to play 2 nights, and the first night power went out and no show happened?
Second night power went out, maybe.
Okay. So this is the first night then, and we're gonna take you back to wrap things up with a OG tap. And I know we've made quite a reputation for ourselves of cutting tap-ins off. So we figured we should just play a tap-in, finally give it to you guys here.
For Taylor.
Holy shit.
Do some karate, HB. Ugh. Love that crowd pop. Wow. So there is your pre-screech synth tap in breakdown, which I think is a great way to kind of wrap up the Murf era for you. But I wanted you to kind of give your overall feelings and your experience of the Murf era, Brooke, and kind of how you remember that time.
I mean, that's the band I knew and loved and started following. I think I've honestly just come to the point where I've surpassed my amount of Murf shows with Alana shows. So for a while, okay, thanks. Yeah, I think I I went through a period where I didn't, I had like a little phase where I stopped following the band for a minute, and then I had another life period. But I would say during the end of Murph's time in the band, I wasn't as active. It feels like. And I was one of those that wasn't like, I didn't love Peace Blaster when it came out because again, I was an Artifact girl, and that was like totally opposite. But again, everything that I didn't like back then is so good now. So yeah, I have nothing but great memories of the Murf era and all that was. That was absolutely my wild teen years. And Alana has kind of come during a time, I mean, literally, I was pregnant with my son, my firstborn. I was 2 weeks to delivery for her first show at the Tennessee Theater. So I feel like with Alana came this like kind of like this feminine rebirth for me that kind of brought me back into the band. And so I'm like hardcore. I love my girl. I love Alana. So yeah, I don't know. I think it just kind of brought like this feminine fresh air, and maybe that's what it was that I was looking for. And yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
such a wonderful transition. Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't have walked me better into where we were going next. Your stat page, it's like a living embodiment of "you can always come home," right? You were talking about it, but if you want to hear the numbers behind it, you saw 25 Murph shows from 2005 to 2009, then 4 over the next decade between 2009 to 2019. One of those being your first Alana show. And my question behind that, because as you read it on paper and knowing that you have children, but I honestly wasn't exactly sure how old your kids were. So I was wondering kind of what provoked that break. And then more importantly, honestly, did you kind of have a second aha moment at that Tennessee Theater show with Alana where you were like, where the fuck have I been?
Yeah, and I don't want to, it was more of a crowd feeling. I'm somebody who has always been very, I can just like really sense the energy of just what I'm around. And there was a shift in the crowd, there just was. I don't know, it just felt different for a little while. And so I just kind of pulled out, and that was just my personal experience. I didn't really know everybody back then, because I will say I was on the lowdown. Somebody made fun of one of my hula hooping videos, and I cried, and I never ever came back. So the lounge has been my rebirth for like STS9 forums as well. So I just feel like I was in like, just like this immature teen girl in the younger years, and like literally Alana has been like, I'm a professional, I'm married, I have kids, but I've seen more shows now. And the shows that I have seen, I remember so strongly. And so my greatest and most favorite shows have been everything from 2019 and on. And that's just because of, I think, where I'm at in life, the way music resonates with me versus, a careless teenager. Like, did you see the set list for Bonnaroo 2005? What the heck? I don't even remember it. And I didn't know that I was missing all these sit-ins. And the first drop of Instantly, it was Untitled.
Yeah.
Like,
you had Collective Efforts there. You had Richard Devine there. Percept was there. But yeah, let's take you back to that night, that 2014 Tennessee Theater show, hometown throwdown for you. we've got just a
Yeah.
bitchin' segment to share here. So excited for this.
Mm.
Like butter.
Pregnant during this?
I will
You
never
sure?
not think of the trust fall when that hits.
I will
Just-
never not. I will never not think of you almost having a baby at this show after hearing that. 2 weeks from having a kid.
Are you sure you weren't Are you sure you weren't impregnated this night?
Yeah, because it was actually 2015. It was the 2015 show was my first Alana show. I was pregnant all through most of her. Yeah, I guess I got impregnated before, right at Alana's. It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the Tennessee Theater. I've heard really
Dude.
nice things about this room.
Petition to bring the band back to Knoxville.
Yeah.
Man, I have not been to the Tennessee Theater in quite some time since, we haven't had a lot of great music come through for us, but man, it is beautiful in there. If you haven't seen the inside, Google a picture of the ceiling. The ceiling in there is just gorgeous. It's like this blue dome. It's just very regal inside. It's very beautiful. And they, before that they played at the Bijou, which is just down the street. It's much smaller, haunted, super cool place too. So yeah, they've played the Bijou and Tennessee Theater kind of. I guess they started doing Tennessee Theater more around 2007 and moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love me some Ghost Hunter / STS9 action. Play all the haunted venues. I love it.
Yeah, they used to run around as SEC college towns a lot more.
Yeah.
And I know touring is hard and they're kind of doing a different thing, but I would love to see them tear through some of those venues that they used to frequent a lot years ago. The Georgia Theater, Tennessee Theater, the Lyric in Oxford.
Charlottesville, the Ville Run.
Charlottesville.
Yeah.
I forget where they play in Fayetteville, but whatever that venue is out there that they used to hit a lot. Let's bring STS9 back to the SEC because they really get down there.
They come back to Knoxville. I will plan the biggest lounge meetup. I will host you all. Come on. I will host the whole crew.
You heard it here first.
From your living room.
We got the receipts. So let's get to your next set of shows. They were a very special set of shows for me as well. Pisgah 2019, right? These are your first shows after you've given birth to your first child. What what are your feelings leading up to these shows, and how is it different than the shows before?
I actually had both of my kids at this point. So pretty much 2014 until 2018, I felt like I was either pregnant or, in the throes of it. So by the time 2019, yeah, Scotty's like, been there, know it, I'm in it, you're in it.
Well, I've been pregnant, but I've got a 15 months, so I get it. I got it.
Yeah. So the 2019 shows were the Pisgah run was my first run, not pregnant, no kids with me, and getting to see the band again and in Asheville. And that was my first time at Pisgah. Fell in love with it. Love Pisgah. I hated that it kind of shut down for a while, but it seems like it's kind of back up and running. It looks like there's some shows scheduled this summer, so maybe that's good news for us in our world. But yeah, Pisgah is a magical place. I think I got just about all of my favorite songs that run.
It seemed like that kind of run
from now on. Yeah, like everything was like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, they had the first show, the 3-night run, was my 100 show, and they did the Spectacle water song. And the water song was per my request, and that's my all-time favorite. I know Mischief's one of your favorites too, that we just heard too. So you've got a long-standing relationship with that song. But yeah, I thought what would be better than to play a clip, round things out here for the last couple clips in Asheville. So we'll start with this run here.
I forgot about this. Get the fuck out of here. $2019, baby.
So
Every
So good.
single day.
I call this the slutty STS9 era, and not in a bad way. We do not slut shame here on Pod Podular. Man, they just like it. Things had to seem different when you came back for this weekend, right? Like something. I always sometime between 2017 and 2018, something freaking happened. Like they sold their souls to the devil or something. Like, but Brooke, your thoughts on hearing something like this?
Yeah. After this, I remember telling Jack, like, we're back. We're back. And then I was like, okay, when can we do this again? And then they announced Red Rocks. Well, I think we had already had, oh, wait. When did COVID actually hit? March.
Yeah.
February is when Red Rocks tickets went on sale, and I bought those, I believe. Am I remembering this right?
Yeah, that's the right timeline. Yeah.
Correctly.
Yeah. And I just remember being absolutely crushed because I was so fired up from that Pisco show, and Red Rocks is going to be the next, 2020. So yeah, after that it was the Red Rocks with the Better Day opener that we all were, waterworks.
Opener ever.
It was just incredible. I just had just full body chills. And at the time, of course, I didn't quite realize that that we had a new track starting that night out. What was that one? Skyworld. Yeah.
That full Indian or Native American
I love
song
it.
beforehand. That's my favorite show opener of all time. I can't even think of a second one that would come close.
It's feely. It's very feely.
It's right there in the back of your spine. It's the best shit ever. I loved it.
They nailed it. Yeah. So we hit Red Rocks 2021, and then we're back a year later. And I had some photos to share that you sent over, which were too good not to.
Which ones did I say? Oh, yeah.
This seemed like a really special weekend for the family. So talk us through a little bit of 2022.
Yeah, so we decided to make a full-blown drive from Knoxville. Like, we're gonna tackle the West, everyone. So yeah, I like did a scavenger hunt. I'm like, we're gonna look for prairie dogs and, so we made a thing out of it. We went and visited my best friend, and, went camping. And then they watched the kids for us while we did the 2 nights at Red Rocks. And then the final night was, as you see here, Levitt, absolutely poured that show, and we knew it. So we're trying to we didn't bring rain gear. And so we're like trying to find every Target, Walmart. I think I even went, is there a place called Cherry Creek out there? I went to some big shopping mall close to Levitt, like trying to find a rain jacket or whatever. Cause as you can see here, my daughter's wearing a garbage bag. So yeah.
That's not
that
a
was her
poncho. That's a garbage bag.
That is a garbage bag that the bartender made us promise we wouldn't tell anyone. He gave it to us. He was like, I don't want anyone else coming for more of these. Cause it was pouring.
Yeah.
I had one poncho. My kids are crying. I'm on the rail because hello.
Where else would you be? Yeah.
Where else would I be? I'm 4'11".
My kids are crying.
My kids are crying, Scotty. I'm like Big Bertha. Y'all remember that game where Big Bertha like blows up? I've got all my kids under me in my poncho, and I've given them their tablets, and they're like watching like the Wiggles or whatever the heck they're watching then. And I'm just hanging out on the rail here trying to get through, and I'll pop the kids up here and there. And I mean, I've got footage of them just crying half the time and saying, when can we leave? And then they play From Now On, and I'm like, we're not leaving. This is my favorite song. So I'm like, can you just please and then in that moment, I will never forget this. I think my kids were sitting up, like I was holding them, on the rail, and Zach turns and kind of looks over and starts like making faces at my kids to try to perk them up. Like, it's like he clearly noticed that I'm like, we're not going anywhere, kids. We're staying right here. And Zach's like, yeah. And then
Zach Velmer, the best babysitter of all time, for sure.
I'm telling you. And so then at this point, I don't even realize that Jen and Isis are in the crowd. I just kind of looked to my left, and I was like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
that's Jen Velmer and Isis. So I ran over and said, hey, because I wasn't afraid to talk to the ladies, I guess. I'm a girl's girl. So I ran right over, and and I still chat with Jen at a lot of shows. I love her so much. And Isis is just really sweet. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. He tipped in my son, got the drumstick,
Nice.
handed right to him. So I think it was earned. We made it to the end of the night.
For
and
sure.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely an earned drumstick. Isis a ton of star power. So that's a lot of star power in this picture. That's great.
I'm telling my kids that too. I'm like, this is the drummer's daughter.
Be nice to her. Friend her, please.
Yes. Smile.
Well, that's awesome. Scotty, did you have something else on that weekend?
I did. That kind of answered my question a little bit. I had on here. Are your kids into the band at this point, or is it still kind of mom's thing?
For a while, they were super into it.
Okay.
Now I think they're a little more annoyed by me. And the band.
As they get older, sure.
Yes. My daughter she loves her pop music and, all that. And my son, he usually says he likes lyrics. So he loves the more hip hoppy. They love Possibilities. I've got a great video of them singing that in the back, any of the ones with words. And then When the Dust Settles, my son loves to light in the back of the car. But no, now they're excited to go to Resonate. They met some friends last year that they're excited to see, and they know that it's for Sound Tribe, but they're
another great picture of Tipton here. Getting his second drumstick.
Yes. Yes, that's his little bitty hand right there.
What a shot, yeah. Love that.
That's adorable.
Not much bigger than Zach, not that much smaller than Zach's hand, honestly.
Let me tell you where I'm standing. I don't know if you can see this, but we're beyond where Phipps is. So Zach walks all the way across the stage and steps onto these speaker boxes to hand that to him, which was pretty cool.
Such a sweet guy.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome. So my son he has 2 sticks to my 1. Although I did catch the drumstick in Atlanta, full disclosure, I caught it.
Did you?
I did. I let look, I'll hold my Colorado
Oh, I
flag.
saw that.
I was this and she was like this. And I was
Oh, that's your
like, like,
possession.
you know what?
Upon further
You know
review,
what though?
yeah.
I chose in that moment, Brooke, Montjoy, you have 3 drumsticks, even though they played Possibilities and Luma that night. That's okay. It's
Mhm.
They
okay.
did.
I did the right thing. I did the right
Yes.
thing, and somebody else has a drumstick and they probably didn't have one at all, and they're really excited about it. So the one that got away.
Well,
I do
let's.
I do have one more question.
Yeah.
So jumping off tour, coming back, now you're in it. Now you're Red Rocks 2021. You're hitting this shit regularly.
Yeah.
How long did it take for you to find kind of the community that you have found now, after you jump back on, and who were some of the first people that you kind of linked up with and said, okay, these are my people now?
Yeah. So I think I looked not too long ago. I think I joined in 2019 or maybe 20. I don't even know when I joined the lounge, but
The lounge?
definitely late. Yeah, I'm a latecomer to the lounge. But I joined, I want to say after that Pisgah run. And if it wasn't after, it should have been after Pisgah. Um, and that is when I really started making friends beyond my Knoxville crew. You know, my Knoxville crew, we're tight. We always, we've got a big group chat. But once I joined the lounge, I was kind of envious of all those people that, when you see that family vibe that everyone has at
Mm-hmm.
a show. And I was like, I mean, this is my favorite band. Why don't I know everybody else who likes my favorite band? We should know each other. And so, yeah, I guess it's no secret. I can chit chat all day. So I'm not, I don't know. I'm a people person. I like to create community, whether that's in hanging, an actual event or just kind of like building that camaraderie amongst us, just through small hangouts. But the first people that I met on the lounge, actually, um, Taylor Smith,
Okay.
Taylor,
Shout
I
out
think she's
Taylor.
selector, shout out Taylor, selector 8. She got her tap in earlier. Good job, boys. Um, she made a pair of, this is how I think I got started. Jack bought me a pair of earrings off of Etsy, and it's a pair of artifact earrings, and it was for
Okay.
Mother's Day or something like that. And I'm like, who the heck is this? These are like phenomenal. It's like artifact art. And so I posted in the lounge, and from then I met Taylor and we kind of connected. And then through that, I just kind of kept linking up with all the girls and joining the ladies group. I think Brian Blute was somebody that I friended early on. Star and I have connected and remained very close. I love her so much. She's
The
the
best. We
best.
do too.
Yeah, we text frequently. So, I mean, really, it's to the point now where, I mean, I'm interacting and texting and hearing from people within like our Sound Tribe community daily. Not the same people all the time, some of them, but Mama
Mm-hmm.
Gina,
Oh,
Mama
she's
Gina.
my auntie.
yeah.
Future
She
guest for
is,
sure.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Future guest for sure.
She will be the best. She can do it from like the Mercedes Benz. She'll like do like a
I
nice,
love that.
you got to go. She posted on Facebook today. She's got she was in a commercial for St. Patrick's Day. So you got to check that out.
Oh,
We'll
wow. We're
open
clipping
the
that for
episode
sure.
with it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Absolutely.
good. It's like, car lot edited. It's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, that's so awesome. And like it, but by the time we play this last clip, right, you're kind of infused into that crew, right? We're flash forward to Asheville 2023, and you've
Yeah.
talked about this song already quite a bit. And I know we started with a video clip. We're going to end with a video clip, and you've got a pretty cool story behind this one as well.
Yeah, Tiberius.
Yeah.
Best Luma. Best Luma.
We like to hold it to the last drop.
Yes. And I'm still not done with it.
Rest in peace, Salvage Station, man. That was a special,
I know.
that was a special
I
place,
know.
man. It was a good stage, and really one of those stages that felt like STS9 was made to crush for much longer than they had the
Yeah.
opportunity to. Those two runs that were really, really cool.
Makes you
Yeah,
feel grateful you got to experience it, you know?
Absolutely. I wasn't at 23, I was at 22. And I was just so impressed with everything about that venue and that location. You know, just like you said, very
Yeah.
thankful that we had the opportunity to do that. Brooke, I
You
want
you
to
but
go ahead.
before we move past this, Brooke has a pretty cool story about this
Oh,
Luma in
my bad.
particular too.
Oh, oh yeah. This one, we had just gotten our dog. Her name is Luma. She's a shit, man. She is not as sweet and beautiful as the song, but we love her all the less. Just kidding.
I could send you a few Lumas that sound more like she acts probably then.
Okay, that would be great. Yeah. So for me, I know you guys probably see me in the lounge, like, I'm hoping for this song or this one. And it's really, I go through this cycle. I'm like, okay, it's been maybe 2 years. All right, I'm due for that one, which is why I'm wearing my squares and cubes. Okay.
Yep.
Nashville.
We all need it.
But yeah, I just lost my train of thought talking about squares and cubes.
Luma
Luma story.
Luma.
Asheville.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I messaged Alana, and I'd never done this before, and I just said, hey, gonna see you guys in a month. Looking forward to it. It's been a really long time since I've heard Luma. It's one of my most favorite songs, and it would just be really special if you guys could bust that one out. And I think I sent you guys the video, and you can barely see it in the Nugs clip, but she did give me like a nice little nod, like, letting me know that, it was an acknowledgement, which was really cool. And so, yeah, they played it, and then I got the stick that night. Zach tossed me the stick that night. So
Very,
that is
very cool.
my third. My son got the first two. So
Nice.
Awesome.
That's
Good
so
stuff.
cool. So Brooke, I want to land it at kind of, well, we're not quite landing yet, but we're landing the real formal part of the interview right here. With the way that I became aware of you, and for those that don't know, you work for the Special Olympics. When you're not on a podcast with us, and and the way I became first aware of you is you were the one that set up the GoFundMe to get Gabe out to Colorado for his Red Rock shows, right?
Joel Lindsay set it up.
Okay,
but
I apologize.
I helped
Yeah.
steer. He was going through some personal stuff and kind of had a hard time keeping up with it, and let me kind of piggyback and kind of help carry forth the rest of it. But yeah, he
Right.
set it up. Shout out Joel.
Okay. Shout out Joel, but talk to us about that experience and bringing Gabe in the fold. I know the first time you and I met was at the sticker con that you did at Durability, where we had Gabe come out. You helped me facilitate a gift that I gave to his family that day too. So just talk about how that all came together, and why that mattered so much for you to make such a difference like that.
Yeah, well, I was a special ed teacher for 11 years, and over the last year, I just started working for Special Olympics Tennessee.
Hmm.
So just people with disabilities in general kind of have always been something I've just kind of gravitated to. I don't know, I just feel like I kind of especially with people who are non-speaking, a lot of times I feel like I'm able to get to know and understand a little bit more about somebody, even if they can't speak to me.
Hmm.
And so I've just kind of always had that within. So flash forward to, I think, we all found out about Gabe, the same way, the
Right.
viral video of him
Hmm.
at Red Rocks. And I think that is when I, immediately started following. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's this amazing kid who likes the same band as me, and he's got autism, and that's kind of my wheelhouse. So yeah, I started following his mom and his account, and kind of just sat quietly for a while. But then as this past summer, Red Rocks, no, I don't even think I met them. I hadn't even met them at the Rain Rocks yet.
Hmm.
I don't think we had even met. I think I had reached out afterwards, realizing that they were going to come back. And I'm like, okay, maybe, just maybe I can reach out to his mom, try not to freak her out, let her know that I kind of, I kind of know your world, and I'd love to, just like get to know you better. And so we started talking, and then I kind of helped Joel facilitate some things. And um, yeah, the rescheduled show. That was kind of the plan, was to have this, this big meetup at Brewability, which again is another business in Denver. All of you guys should check that place out. It's fantastic. They their employees have disabilities and are working at an age appropriate type of place. We're not infantilizing these individuals. So anyway, so we met at Brewability. I invited Gabe's mom to come, and it kind of just all just kind of snowballed from there, really.
Hmm.
And since then, my relationship with Nicole and Gabe's family has gotten super strong. She'll call me sometimes to, chat about certain things and to vent here and there. So that's just been like a really cool relationship, to think that there's no way I would have ever met them had this not, had all of this not happened.
Hmm.
So now I've been trying to get them to come to more shows. The flying was a lot on Gabe, and Gabe has expressed that I think, we've had enough of flying for right now, like take a break from it. So if they're
Sure.
going to do shows, they're going to drive. But I did talk to them, and they are game for Nashville, and it is Nicole's birthday weekend. So
Cool.
we raised, I don't know if y'all saw, but we raised all the money in less than 24 hours.
For
Um,
That's so
Nashville?
cool. Yeah.
in less than
I did
24
not. That's
hours.
awesome. That's so
Yes.
cool.
So, and I actually need to transfer that over to them, but yeah, they're planning on coming. And so I'm really excited to see Gabe, and kind of introduce him to anyone who is feeling it, if he's open. And yeah,
Mhm.
that's just been a really cool, relationship that's been built through Sound Tribe.
Yeah, I had so much fun at that brewability event, and getting to know Nicole and Gabe, and hanging out with Gabe a little bit at Red Rocks. I mean, that kid gets after it. I
Yeah,
mean,
he does.
he's I mean, that video of him from his first Red Rocks, he's all the way at the top. He's having a good time, but he's so far out of it. This last one, I mean,
Hmm.
he was in the shits with us, and it was
Mhm.
Yes.
awesome. It was so
And
much fun.
she was so nervous about how that was going to go. Super nervous because, just Gabe likes to spin, and
Mhm.
Mhm.
he likes his space. And so I think that they were just nervous about what the others around, like just how responsive we would be as an audience. And I think that they and Gabe felt just like the warm embrace immediately. And I think that, just that's what makes our community so amazing is it feels like home.
Yeah.
That Red Rocks, I went, I was not able, my husband wasn't able to go. So I actually went alone. That was my first solo show in a long time. And I never once felt like I was alone ever.
Sure.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in so many facets of life and in the STS9 community, Brooke, you seriously do the Lord's work, and you're such a positive force for anything. And you're a part of that and a part of what makes shows feel like home, not just like for yourself, but for others. So I think from
Thank you.
everybody, keep doing what you're doing. And it's been a pleasure getting to meet you a little bit more and talk with you a little bit more, and can't wait to see where just the relationship of the whole fan community continues to grow and see what other positive influence we can make on the world and our community. So just thank you from everybody. But
well,
thank you.
And also thank you from a podcast perspective, because you have been one of our most vocal supporters from the beginning. You constantly message us with notes on episodes and comment on different things. And, it's the super vocal people like you at the beginning that we get really fired up to do this for. And we think about you guys when we're recording. And, I just thank you so much, because you further this thing, and thank you for coming on. But just thank you for all the support that you've thrown us before you came on, because it does not go unnoticed at all.
Oh, well, absolutely. I usually think people get irritated with me because I'm so out there with my voice. So thanks for loving it.
it's necessary for sure. So I think we got just a few quick hit questions here. Think of these as quick as you can.
Okay.
Favorite show that you've been to off the top of your head?
Probably the Skydeck run recently.
Last year. Yep.
Excited to go back.
I think we already answered one. Favorite song, Luma, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I know that's a tough one, but we'll go with
Yeah.
Luma.
Well, yes.
What would you say is the most underrated STS9 song?
I mean, I think you guys give it a lot of love, but otherwise, I feel like Vapors. I feel like a lot of people give You guys make it, give it the good stadium. I love Vapors. I love it. Maybe that one, but that one's not underrated. It's very well played, but I don't know. That might not have been the best answer.
Played plenty, but I don't know if you were to pick 20 random fans, if any of them would pick Vapors as their favorite song. So I think it's fair to call that one underrated. What about an overrated song?
Oh, this one's gonna be like a hot take.
Yeah.
I'll
walk you into one.
I will say the one song, and I always love it by the time it gets going, but Aimlessly.
Oh,
I know.
Ouch. We've lost Scotty. We've lost him.
I know. So many people are like, that's the one that got me into it. I know. It's the beginning.
The one that got Nate into it.
Yeah, it's the first song I ever heard.
But let it be known that there is not a single song that I don't like. Period.
Sure.
You had to pick one. I
had to. Y'all put me through it.
What's your favorite venue to see the band?
Okay, indoor would be the Eastern. That place is magic. There's no bathroom lines, there's no bar lines. It's clean, it's beautiful. You can see from every angle.
The food's
outdoor venue. I mean, of course Red Rocks is amazing, but I like the lawn style. Like Levitt is great. Like I'm thinking about, I want to take my parents to a show. Let me put them on a blanket. I don't know. I've not been to a ton of the really cool venues that seem to be, more out west aside from Red Rocks. So maybe I'll get to Dylan.
Sure. And we got a few STS9 this or that. So we haven't done this, I think, since Rohan's episode. So these are just random songs or
one or the other.
put them against
Yep.
it. You have to pick one. You cannot pick both.
Okay.
Tokyo or Arigato.
Tokyo.
All right, you heard it here first. This is applicable to this one too because we kind of got both. Fast or slow call jam?
Fast call jam.
There we go.
Fast call jam.
Like
your Tennessee Theater show opens with the slow call jam after it gets imperious slow call jam. Funky STS9 or DMB STS9?
Oh, that's not fair. I do love it when they go DMB though. I don't like
There we
these. Yeah, DMB.
It's the right answer. This one's even harder. Hunter or Zach?
Man, they both have great hair too. I'm gonna go Hunter. Sorry, Zach. I'm sorry.
Oh, says the girl with
I know
three
everyone's
sticks.
She said, I have enough sticks. I need me some picks.
Until he tells me his hair regimen, I'm not picking him.
You answered one of them, Tabernacle of the Eastern. It's the Eastern, right? But
yeah.
I love this one. Tennessee Theater or the Ryman?
Tennessee Theater.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. I hear the Ryman's kind of a dump, but it's just a cool place because it's historic.
I haven't been in a long time, but also Knoxville's better than Nashville.
There we go. That's what I've heard as well. But all
true.
right. Well, it is tradition to keep our guests on for the given hot take of the week. And Scotty, you've got one for us here this week. What do you got?
So I don't know if this is a given hot take. This is just something that I don't think I've ever said on the podcast. And there was a comment on our last prompt, which I don't think we're gonna get to the fan prompt from last week. I think we'll probably do that next week. Not calling him out, not going to say his name, but somebody on that prompt said, the prompt, by the way, was what hip hop STS9 mashup songs would you like to see? And somebody said, I don't believe STS9 and hip hop go very well together. And got my blood boiling a little bit because I have long had this theory that STS9 and rather hip hop is the bedrock of STS9.
They are rooted in hip hop.
They are deeply rooted in hip hop,
especially the early years.
Yeah. Which brings me to kind of my thought on jam bands in general. I've always had this theory. Nate's heard it before, that the type of music, if you didn't find jam bands until later in your life, the type of music you listened to in high school was probably got you to wherever you landed. So, for example, if you found Panic later in life, you probably like classic rock a little bit. You probably like Southern rock, Allman Brothers type stuff. That was probably your bag in high school. If you ended up finding Humphreys, you're probably into some heavy metal, that type of shit in high school.
Some prog, Muse.
Exactly. If you were one of those kids that found techno real early, well, then you probably made your way to the Disco Biscuits. And if you were a hip hop kid, you found STS9. To me, that's it. It's everything about who they are and their environment. Atlanta, Georgia is, in my opinion, the mecca of hip hop at this point.
Capital.
At this point, Caesar, go argue with your mom about it. I don't care about New York. we have held this shit down for 20 plus years. It's us, and it is not a coincidence that STS9 emerged out of that environment. It's because at the bottom of it all, it's break beats and samples for STS9, and that is all hip hop to the core. So they're peanut butter and jelly. That's not an opinion. That is a hard ground fact over their entire career.
I'm with you, and I've gone as far where you get that question from people all the time. Whether it's your aunt or uncle, or whether it's someone at work, where they're like, "Okay, what kind of music is it?" And I've actually settled into, I start with every time now, and I have for maybe a couple of years now. The first thing I say is they're from Atlanta, Georgia, and they're rooted in hip hop. That's where I start at this point.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
I don't think you could be more on than that. So.
Brooke, this was awesome. You were awesome. You should not have been nervous because it did. You were amazing. This was
Well,
so
thank
much
you.
fun. Thank you so much for doing this. We really, really appreciate it. Close us down, Nate.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening and watching. Again, thank you, Brooke, not just for tonight, but for everything you continue to do. You're, again, a positive force in the STS9 community. But like us, subscribe to us, whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on Apple Music, or Spotify. We'll be back next week with another Wave Spell series. And we're getting real close to being within a month. Now we're within a month of our next STS9 show. So have a great weekend, all. Enjoy March Madness. Hopefully your brackets aren't busted by Sunday. Much love.